Hello, family. As we pick up on the book of Jasher, chapter 26. In the 59th year of the life of Isaac, the son of Abraham, Rebekah, his wife, was still unable to conceive in those days. So at that time, I think Rebekah would have been 29 because she was 10 when they went and got her, and Isaac was 40. So she should be about 29 now. And Rebekah said to Isaac, "Truly I have heard, my lord, that your mother Sarah was unable to conceive in her days until my lord Abraham, your father, prayed for her, and she conceived by him. Now therefore stand up. You also pray to Elohim, and he will hear your prayer and remember us through his mercies." And Isaac answered his wife Rebekah, saying, "Abraham has already prayed for me to Elohim to reproduce his descendants. Now therefore this barrenness must proceed to us from you." And Rebekah said to him, "But arise now, you also, and pray, that the Lord may hear your prayer and grant me children." Isaac listened to the words of his wife, and Isaac and his wife rose up and went to the land of Moriah to pray there and to seek the Lord. And when they had reached that place, Isaac stood up and prayed to the Lord on account of his wife, because she was unable to conceive. And Isaac said, "O Lord, Elohim of heaven and earth, whose goodness and mercies fill the earth, you who did take my father from his father's house and from his birthplace, and brought him to this land, and did say to him, 'To your descendants I will give the land.' And you did promise him, and did declare to him, 'I will reproduce your descendants as the stars of heaven and as the sand of the sea.' Now may your words be verified, which you did speak to my father. For you are the Lord, our Elohim. Our eyes are toward you to give us descendants of men, as you did promise us. For you are the Lord, our Elohim, and our eyes are directed toward you only." And the Lord heard the prayer of Isaac, the son of Abraham. The Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And in about 7 months after the children struggled together within her, it pained her greatly, and she was wearied on account of them. She said to all the women who were then in the land, "Did such a thing happen to you as it has to me?" And they said to her, "No." And she said to them, "Why am I alone in this among all the women that were on earth?" And she went to the land of Moriah to seek the Lord. On account of this, she went to Shem and Eber, his son, to make inquiries of them in this matter, that they should seek the Lord in this thing respecting her. She also asked Abraham to seek and inquire of the Lord about all that had befallen her. They all inquired of the Lord concerning this matter, and they brought her word from the Lord and told her, "2 children are in your womb, and 2 nations shall rise from them. One nation shall be stronger than the other, and the greater shall serve the younger." When her days to be delivered were completed, she knelt down, and behold, there were twins in her womb, as the Lord had spoken to her. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And all the people of the land called his name Esau, saying, "This one was made complete from the womb." And after that came his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Therefore they called his name Jacob. Isaac, the son of Abraham, was 60 years old when he had them. The boys grew up to their 15th year, and they came among the society of men. Esau was a designing and deceitful man, and an expert hunter in the field. Jacob was a man perfect and wise, dwelling in tents, feeding flocks, and learning the instructions of the Lord and the commands of his father and mother. Isaac and the children of his household lived with his father Abraham in the land of Canaan, as Elohim had commanded them. Ishmael, the son of Abraham, went with his children and all belonging to them. They returned there to the land of Havilah, and they lived there. And all the children of Abraham's concubines went to dwell in the land of the east. For Abraham had sent them away from his son and had given them presents, and they went away. Abraham gave all that he had to his son Isaac, and he also gave him all his treasures. And he commanded him, saying, Do you not know and understand the Lord is Elohim in earth and heaven, in heaven and in earth, and there is no other beside him. It was he who took me from my father's house and from my birthplace, and gave me all the delights on earth, who delivered me from the counsel of the wicked, for in him I did trust. He brought me to this place and delivered me from Ur-Kasdim, and said to me, To your descendants I will give all these land, and they shall inherit them when they keep my commandments, my statutes, and my judgments that I have commanded you, and which I shall command them. Now therefore, my son, listen to my voice, and keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I commanded you. Do not turn from the right way, either to the right or to the left, in order that it may be well with you and your children after you forever. And remember the wonderful works of the Lord and his kindness that he has shown toward us, in having delivered us from the hands of our enemies. The Lord, our Elohim, caused them to fall into our hands. Now therefore keep all that I have commanded you, and turn not away from the commandments of your God. Serve none besides him, in order that it may be well with you and your descendants after you. Teach your children and your descendants the instructions of the Lord and his commandments, and teach them the upright way in which they should go, in order that it may be well with them forever. Isaac answered his father and said to him, That which my Lord has commanded, that I will do. and I will not depart from the commands of the Lord, my Elohim. I will keep all that he commanded me. And Abraham blessed his son Isaac, and also his children. And Abraham taught Jacob the instructions of the Lord and his ways. It was at that time that Abraham died, in the 15th year of the life of Jacob and Esau, the sons of Isaac. And all the days of Abraham were 175 years. He died and was gathered to his people in good old age, old and satisfied with days. And Isaac and Ishmael, his sons, buried him. When the inhabitants of Canaan heard that Abraham was dead, they all came with their kings and princes and all their men to bury Abraham. All the inhabitants of the land of Haran, all the families of the house of Abraham, all the princes and grandees, and the sons of Abraham by the concubines, all came when they heard of Abraham's death. They rewarded Abraham's kindness and comforted Isaac his son. And they buried Abraham in the cave which he bought from Ephron the Hittite and his children, for the possession of a burial place. All the inhabitants of Canaan and all those who had known Abraham wept for Abraham a whole year. Men and women mourned over him. All the little children and all the inhabitants of the land wept on account of Abraham. For Abraham had been good to them all, because he had been upright with Elohim and men. There arose not a man who feared God like Abraham, for he had feared his Elohim from his youth, and had served the Lord, and had gone in all his ways during his life, from his childhood to the day of his death. And the Lord was with him and delivered him from the counsel of Nimrod and his people. When he made war with the 4 kings of Elam, he conquered them. He brought all the children of the earth to service of Elohim, and he taught them the ways of the Lord, and caused them to know the Lord. He formed a grove and planted a vineyard therein, and he had always prepared in his tent meat and drink to those that passed through the land, that they might satisfy themselves in his house. The Lord God delivered the whole earth on account of Abraham. It was after the death of Abraham that Elohim blessed his son Isaac and his children. And the Lord was with Isaac, as he had been with his father Abraham. For Isaac kept all the commandments of the Lord, as Abraham his father had commanded him. He did not turn to the right or to the left from the right path which his father had commanded him. Chapter 27. Esau at that time, after the death of Abraham, frequently went in the field to hunt. Nimrod, king of Babel, the same was Amraphel, also frequently went with his mighty men to hunt in the field, and to walk about with his men in the cool of the day. Nimrod was observing Esau all those days. Excuse me, family. For jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod against Esau. On a certain day, Esau went in the field to hunt, and he found Nimrod walking in the wilderness with his 2 men. All his mighty men and his people were with him in the wilderness, but they kept at a distance. They went from him in different directions to hunt. And Esau concealed himself from Nimrod, and he lurked for him in the wilderness. And Nimrod and his men that were with him did not know him. Nimrod and his men frequently walked about in the field at the cool of the day, and to know where his men were hunting in the field. Nimrod and 2 of his men that were with him came to the place where they were. When Esau appeared suddenly from his lurking place, drew his sword, and hurriedly ran to Nimrod and cut his head off. And cut off his head. Esau fought a desperate fight with the 2 men that were with Nimrod. And when they called out to him, Esau turned to them and struck them to death with his sword. All the mighty men of Nimrod, who had left him to go to the wilderness, heard the cry at a distance, and they knew the voices of those 2 men. They ran to know the cause of it, and they found their king and the 2 men that were with him lying dead in the wilderness. When Esau saw the mighty men of Nimrod coming at a distance, he fled and thereby escaped. Esau took the valuable garments of Nimrod, which Nimrod's father had bequeathed to Nimrod, with which Nimrod prevailed over the whole land. He ran and concealed them in his house. Esau took those garments and ran into the city on account of Nimrod's men. And he came to his father's house, wearied and exhausted from fight. And he was ready to die through grief when he approached his brother Jacob and sat before him. And he said to his brother Jacob, "Behold, I shall die this day. Wherefore then do I want the birthright?" And Jacob acted wisely with Esau in this matter. And Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, for it was so brought about by the Lord. Esau's portion in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought from the children of Heth for the possession of a burial ground, Esau also sold to Jacob. And Jacob bought all this from his brother Esau for value given. Jacob wrote all of this in a book, and he testified the same with witnesses, and sealed it, and the book remained in the hands of Jacob. When Nimrod, the son of Cush, died, his men lifted him up and brought him in consternation, and buried him in his city. And all the days that Nimrod lived were 215 years, and he died. The days that Nimrod reigned on the people of the land were 185 years. And Nimrod died by the sword of Esau in shame and contempt. And the descendants of Abraham caused his death as he had seen in his dream. At the death of Nimrod, his kingdom became divided into many divisions, And all those parts that Nimrod reigned over were restored to the respective kings of the land, who recovered them after the death of Nimrod. All the people of the house of Nimrod were for a long time enslaved to all the other kings of the land. Chapter 28. In those days, after the death of Abraham, in that year the Lord brought a heavy famine in the land. While the famine was raging in the land of Canaan, Isaac rose up to go down to Egypt on account of the famine, as his father Abraham had done. And the Lord appeared that night to Isaac and said to him, "Do not go down to Egypt, but rise and go to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, and remain there till the famine shall cease." Isaac rose up and went to Gerar, as the Lord commanded him, and he remained there a full year. And when Isaac came to Gerar, the people of the land saw that Rebekah, his wife, was of a beautiful appearance. And the people of Gerar asked Isaac concerning his wife. And he said, "She is my sister." For he was afraid to say she was his wife, that the people of the land should kill him on account of her. The princes of Abimelech went and praised the woman to the king, but he answered them not. Neither did he give attention to their words. Excuse me. But he heard them say that Isaac declared her to be his sister. So the king reserved this within himself. And when Isaac had remained 3 months in the land, Abimelech looked out the window, and he saw Isaac was sporting with Rebekah, his wife. For Isaac lived in the outer house belonging to the king, so that the house of Isaac was opposite the house of the king. And the king said to Isaac, "What is this you have done to us in saying of your wife, 'She is my sister'? How easily might one of the great men of the people have lain with her, and you would then have brought guilt on us." And Isaac said to Abimelech, "Because I was afraid that I die on account of my wife, therefore I said, 'She is my sister.'" At that time, Abimelech gave orders to all his princes and great men, and they took Isaac and Rebekah, his wife, and brought them before the king. The king commanded that they should dress them in princely garments and make them ride through the streets of the city and proclaim before them throughout the land, saying, "This is the man, and this is his wife. Whoever touches this man or his wife shall certainly die." And Isaac returned with his wife to the king's house, and the Lord was with Isaac, and he continued to become great and lacked nothing. And the Lord caused Isaac to find favor in the sight of Abimelech and in the sight of all his subjects. And Abimelech acted well with Isaac. For Abimelech remembered the oath and the covenant that existed between his father and Abraham. Abimelech said to Isaac, "Behold, the whole earth is before you. Dwell wherever it may seem good in your sight until you shall return to your land." Abimelech gave Isaac fields and vineyards and the best part of the land of Gerar, to sow and reap and eat the fruits of the ground until the days of the famine would have passed by. And Isaac sowed in that land and received 100-fold in the same year. And the Lord blessed him. The man became great, and he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and a great store of servants. When the days of the famine had passed away, the Lord appeared to Isaac and said to him, "Rise up, go forth from this place and return to your land, to the land of Canaan." Isaac rose up and returned to Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all belonging to him, as the Lord commanded him. After this, Shelah, the son of Arphaxad, died in that year, which is the 18th year of the lives of Jacob and Esau. All the days that Shelah lived were 433 years, and he died. At that time, Isaac sent his younger son, Jacob, to the house of Shem and Eber, and he learned the instructions of the Lord. Jacob remained in the house of Shem and Eber for 32 years. Esau, his brother, did not go, for he was not willing to go, and he remained in his father's house in the land of Canaan. Esau was continually hunting in the fields to bring home what he could get. So did Esau all the days. Esau was a designing and deceitful man, one who hunted after the hearts of men and inveigled them. And Esau was a valiant man in the field. In the course of time, he went as usual to hunt and came as far as the field of Seir, the same as Edom. And he remained in the land of Seir, hunting in the field 1 year and 4 months. Esau there saw in the land of Seir the daughter of a man of Canaan, and her name was Jehudith, the daughter of Beeri, son of Epher, from the families of Heth, the son of Canaan. Esau took her for a wife, and he came to her. 40 years old was Esau when he took her, and he brought her to Hebron, the land of his father's dwelling place, and he lived there. It came to pass in those days, in the 110th year of the life of Isaac, that is, in the 50th year of the life of Jacob. In that year, Shem, the son of Noah, died. Shem was 600 years old at his death. And when Shem died, Jacob returned to his father to Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan. And in the 56th year of the life of Jacob, people came from Haran, and Rebekah was told concerning her brother Laban, the son of Bethuel. The wife of Laban was unable to conceive in those days, and gave birth to no children. And also all his handmaids gave birth to none to him. what he did to Jacob. And the Lord afterward remembered Adinah, the wife of Laban, and she conceived and gave birth to twin daughters. And Laban named his daughters the name of the elder, Leah, and the name of the younger, Rachel. And those people came and told these things to Rebekah. And Rebekah rejoiced greatly that the Lord had visited her brother and that he had gotten children. Thank you for listening, family. God bless you all.